Die 14de en laaste skof van vanjaar se Momentum Rapport toer breek aan. Dis 'n sirkelroete van om en by 38 km wat 2 keer deur die jaar afgelê word en hy begin by die Green Acres winkelsentrum en eindig ook daar. Johnny?
On a short stage like this, the riders are so motivated that it usually ends up in one big bunch sprint.
Baie vroeg in hierdie skof kom hulle dan ook by die eerste snelpremie uit waar nie minder nie as R1000 op die spel is nie.
After a magnificent lead-out from his team, Francie Kruger finds himself at the front with Willy Engelbrecht in a one-on-one situation. But the defending champion Engelbrecht again falls prey to the super sprinter Kruger, who pockets the first hotspot for R1,000. Mnet once again set out to maintain a tempo today, and in doing so nullify the opposition activity, with the entire team assisting Mark Biernecker in the Momentum yellow jersey. At the front, Willy Engelbrecht, Loren Smith, Stephen Walleter, Gary Biernecker, and of course the Momentum yellow jersey wearer Mark Biernecker, always there to keep an eye on the race. At 11 kilometers, there's a hotspot which Graham Cockerton of Top Sport VW Fox takes. Contrary to the way that they normally tackle these things, he goes straight through it and continues racing to leave the bunch far behind. Where trouble strikes his team captain Robbie McIntosh, who falls prey to a puncture this time. But with the assistance of Erkis Besaidnout and Ralph Smout, they soon get him back into contention.
Cockerton wen 2 bergpremies wat teens Mulder se blou trui veilig oor sy skouers plaas en Mulder self het baie goed gevaar agter want hy het voorkreer in die premies geëindig. In die proses wen Cockerton ook 'n snelpremie en hy het vir 24 km alleen voorgejaag. Vroeër verjaar die Allied fietstoer gewen en nou is hy versier op die R2000 wat die wenner van hierdie eerste ronde ontvang.
Francie Kruger's Snowflake Blue Ribbon team also have their sights set on the R2,000. And it was through their efforts that Graham Cockerton was finally caught. Now the attacks start in earnest, with Andrew McLean trying to sever that little cord between himself and Mark Biernecker. But with the assistance of his ever-present team, Mark Biernecker manages to respond every time.
Aan die einde van die eerste ronde nog 'n snelpremie wat R2000 werd is.
Stephen Walleter leads out, thinks Francie Kruger is coming on his inside and switches inwards. But in doing so, blocks his own teammate Willy Engelbrecht to let Francie Kruger through to add another R2,000 to his kitty.
Die eerste ronde is nou voltooi en dit lyk 'n uitgemaakte saak dat Mark Biernecker, indien niks onvoorsiens gebeur soos van die fietsafval of 'n papwiel, definitief vanjaar hierdie toer met die geeltrui om sy skouers gaan voltooi. Hy sal slegs die 3de jaar word wat dit reg kry om hierdie toer meer as 1 keer te wen.
With the wind blowing from the riders' left to the right-hand side, they use the echelon formation, sheltering each other from the wind. Those working at the front get assistance from each other and get sheltered from the wind, while those hanging back in the tail have no protection at all and find it very hard to stay there. One of the finds of this year's Momentum Rapport Tour is young Anton Duvenacher of the Handsome Cycles team. He tries to get away, and the rider to respond is the wearer of the jersey earlier in the tour, John Charlesworth of Great Britain. They never get together, and as strength lies in numbers, they don't go on to win the stage either.
Herstelwerk word aan die fiets van Kurt Verleden se remme gedoen. Dit is in die ry en omdat die nalrit spesialis van die Topsport VW Fox span by die bondel moet kom, is dit Graham Cockerton wat terugval om hom met groot hulp weer by die bondel te bring. R5,000 is op die spel vir die skofwenner.
With the race almost run, those that have won and those that have lost have done so. The pace starts hotting up for the sprint. The Pickford's Removals Italian team is also there hoping to get their sprinter Strutz and Pastorelli to the end to get a crack at the R5,000 for the stage winner.
Werk baie hard voor want hulle wil graag hê Pastorelli of Strasser moet eerste oor die eindstreep wees.
A technique which we learned quite late in the cycling history in South Africa is to assist each other, and the Italians are masters of this always making sure that their riders are protected.
Cockerton en Charlesworth is nou deur die bondel ingehaal en met die toer wat reeds gewen en verloor is, soos Johnny terecht sê, is alle oë op die jaars en op die eindstreep, want daar is 'n groot prysgeld wat daarmee gepaard gaan. Dis by Green Acres en al die spanne se naalryers is aan die voorpunt.
This is when the heaving and shoving really starts. Teams have to ensure that their sprinters get a clean passage to the line, and they'll do anything to make sure this happens. The Pickford's rider has done his lead and opens up for Pastorelli to go through. Kruger goes first in the sprint with Pastorelli and Verleerden on his inside. He drifts them across and holds on to win his 4th stage of this year's Momentum Rapport Tour.
Baie mooi, Fransie Creer wat die punteklassifikasie trui dra, want hy het die meeste skofte in hierdie toer gewen. Hy word beloon met R8.000 vir sy harde poging van die dag en die wenner van verjaar se Momentum Rapport Toer, Mark Beneke, kry die gelukwensinge van sy spanmaats en hy weet die wete in sy kop dat hy hom die tweede keer gewen het. Johnny Koen het net daarna, terwyl hy by sy meisie Sharon is, 'n woordjie of wat met verjaar se wenner gewissel.
Mark, when how was this year's tour won and lost?
It was really on that stage to series when Lawrence and myself planned an attack and went away taking 2 Italians, 2 of the top sport riders, and we managed to get over 7 minutes on the big favourites for the tour, and I think that's what the break of the race was that day.
And at 32 years of age, you're one of the older guys on the circuit. Can we now expect you to maybe retire at the top?
No, Johnny, I don't think yet. I've got my own company that we started, and I'd like to carry on riding it for as long as possible. Really, it's an inspiration, and I really enjoy it. It's part of life. It's great.
Was your Momentum yellow jersey ever in jeopardy on the tour?
No, I suppose only in the time trial when it was the race of truth. I had to race against myself and prove that I could retain the jersey, and once I'd proved that to myself, then I don't think I was ever in doubt that I would lose it. In my own mind, I was strong enough to do it.
Die algehele uitslag met Mark Beneke wat 2 minute en 15 sekondes voor Andrew McLean eindig, Robbie McIntosh derde en Angelo Canzioneri in die 4de plek. En Mark Beneke wat van meneer Fanny Jordaan, die hoofbestuurder van Rapport, daar die beker ontvang en voor die toer sou 'n mens nie gedink het dat hierdie uitgeslape kalant van 'n Beneke dit die tweede keer sou regkry nie. Die Kobobas van die Berge kampioen teens Mulder, hy het daar geslaag om vir Fransie Creer te wen, Molitor het daarna gevolg en toe Robbie McIntosh. Hy is die geliefde apie van die toer, 'n baie gewilde man uit 'n groot humorsin en hy verdien daardie blou trui terdee. Fransie Creer het baie goed gery, hy het die meeste skofte tydens verjaar se toer gewen en dit het aan hom die egte suiwel punte kompetisie trui besorg. Hy trek hom aan met trots, want hy het hard gejaag, hy het weer vandag sy skof gewen en uitstekend gevaar. In die Liquid Fruit snelpremies weer eens Creer wat geseëvier het, hy hele klompie punte voor Dievenage, Engelbrecht en Johan Ribbens. Fransie Creer wat daar die trui aantrek van die borge en 'n mens dink in sy wete is daar die feit dat hy R8.000 verdien het. Hy het hard gery deur die toer en verskeie skofte gewen. John Charlesworth, die beste amateur tydens verjaar se toer. Die geel trui vroeg gedra, meneer Leon Landsberg van die Topsport VW Fox en Junior Sportspan wat die trui aan hom oorhandig. En soos Waffer se Grand Prix kampioen is dit Mark Beneke wat sy vreugde kwaliek kan beteel. Maar daar was ook so 'n tikkie hartseer, want in sy kop het hy geweet, dit is die tweede keer wat hy hierdie toer wen, die eerste keer wat hy in Port Elizabeth klaar maak. Saam met die vreugde was daar ook 'n bietjie leed.
Yes, Dion. The sad news is that Alan van Heerden has announced his retirement from pro racing. He mentioned several career highlights.
Yes, Johnny, I think there's quite a few highlights. One of them was in 1979 winning the longest stage of the Tour of Italy. 3 years ago I won the World Veteran Road Championships. There was also the 2 Rapport Tour victories, and I think that record, that'll be very difficult to break, 65 stage wins in the Rapport Tour. There were quite a few others, but I think those are notably the best.
On the local scene, who was your most formidable competitor?
Well, you, of course, and Robbie McIntosh, and Alan Dippel, and Akis Besaidnout, and Tiens Mulder. There are quite a few riders that gave me a hard time in the races over the years, but I think the one who gave me the biggest agony in the races was Robbie McIntosh.
And can we expect to see you back in the event next year, perhaps as a manager or maybe an official?
Yes, Johnny, I don't think cycling has lost me for good. I will be managing the Snowflake Blue Ribbon team next year, and our star rider will be Francie Kruger, and we'll be building a very, very strong team around him. You will see me back for the Rapport Tour next year, but as a manager. I must say that 26 years of racing have been great, and as all sportsmen say, I can only thank my wife and my children and my family and my mom and dad and everyone for backing me through the 26 years. It's been a very difficult career to motivate myself, especially the last couple of years, and especially the last couple of months with the injury that I had. And with 2.5 weeks of training, I think I rode pretty well this tour. Apart from that, it's been great. Cycling's been great to me, and I'll be back next year, definitely.
Alan, finally, will you still continue racing in some form or another?
Yes, Johnny, I don't think I could just stop cycling like that. I would like to race next year. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I will decide in the next 2 or 3 weeks after speaking to our sponsor. But racing hasn't lost me for good. I would eventually like to start racing with the veterans. I believe there's a new rule coming now that you can only start from 40 years and older, so I've got another 2 years to wait. But as I say, we'll wait for the next couple of weeks and then I'll make a final decision.
Well, indeed, a sad moment for cycling as we say goodbye to one of the great cyclists ever.
Thank you very much, Johnny. It's been great, and thanks.